Hello everyone. So far we have understood that the distance computations is one of the most critical aspects of k-nearest neighbors algorithm. So we have considered a specific test point and then we have determined what could be the neighborhood region based upon the distances that are computed for that particular test point with respect to all other data points that we have within the coordinate space, right? So once we have determined what is a neighborhood region, we simply assigned a predicted label to the test point based upon majority voting scheme in a classification setting. So this is a whole exercise that we have conducted in the previous session. So from this, we understand that distance computations is one of the most critical areas, and we are supposed to learn about the different distance measures that one can use while creating a KNN model. The default distance measure that the scikit-learn implementation currently has is Euclidean distance. We already have a fair understanding of what Euclidean distance is. We already have dealt with this specific formula that you are observing on the right hand side during our exploratory data analysis module itself, but we have not gained a thorough understanding on how you have come up with this specific formula. So in this session, we are going to gain a geometrical understanding on how we have come up with this specific formula that you are observing here. Let's say that this is x1 and this is x2. So x1 is one of the independent variables and x2 is another one. So instead of considering x1 and x2 as x and y axis here, for a simpler notation, I'm considering this to be x and this to be y. So y here is not the dependent variable. It's not the dependent variable. Y here just represents the y axis, that's all. So in both x and y axis, you should be ideally having two independent variables. But for simpler notations, I'm expressing it as x and y here. So there are two different data points that are represented in this coordinate system, A and B. Now, I need to travel from this specific point A to point B. So the shortest distance that I can observe from this particular diagram is this particular side of the triangle called D, right? So how do I compute the distance of this specific side of the triangle here? A will have two different coordinates, x1 and y1, since we have represented it as x and y axis here. And B will have two different coordinates, a pair of coordinates, which are represented as x2 comma y2. So this point here in the triangle is C. I observe a right angle triangle here, isn't it? So just by going by Pythagoras theorem, just by applying Pythagoras rule, we simply can say that AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square, right? AB, which is nothing but the distance or the side of this hypotenuse, is going to be square root of AC square plus BC square, right? So now I am unaware of what AC is and what BC is here, right? I need to find these two sides of the triangle so as to come up with Euclidean distance formula or come up with this specific distance D here, right? Let's say that whatever y-axis that you are observing can also be represented as x is equal to 0 because you observe this y-axis only at x is equal to 0. Similarly, you can represent your x-axis as y equal to 0 because this is what you are observing at y equal to 0, right? So now, whatever distance that you have from x is equal to 0 till this specific point B is called as x2 because the coordinate of point B is x2. Similarly, whatever distance that you are currently observing from x is equal to 0 to point A is going to be x1 because the x coordinate of point A is going to be x1 here. Now, in order to find AC, I simply take the difference between x2 and x1. So x2 minus x1 is going to be this specific yellow side of the triangle, which is AC. So I'll now represent it as x2 minus x1. I'm just providing a modulus operand so as to indicate that distances can never be negative. Similarly, BC can be y2 minus y1, right? So this is going to be y2 because the y coordinate of point B here is going to be y2. And this distance is going to be y1 because the y coordinate of point A is going to be y1. So y2 minus y1 is going to give us this side of the triangle, which is BC. I'm representing it as y2 minus y1 here. And now I substitute AC and BC in this specific formula. That's going to result into x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this is the formula for Euclidean distance, and this is how we have come up with. Let's say that there is another dimension, probably the dimension I'm representing with z. So if I'm adding another dimension to it, I simply can expand this formula that I have written here as x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. So likewise, you can expand these number of terms to any number of terms depending on the number of dimensions that you have. Since it's pretty hard for us to imagine beyond 3 dimensions, I'm just restricting myself to representing this specific formula only till 3 dimensions. Okay, cool. So now we have understood on how we have traveled from point A to point B, and then we have arrived at this Euclidean distance. So we also can travel from point A to point B by this route, right? AC and BC. So instead of always considering this hypotenuse side of the triangle, you can also sum up what you observe for AC and what you observe for BC. So distance can also be AC plus BC. AC is going to be x2 minus x1. BC is going to be y2 minus y1. So this distance, this new distance that you have computed just now is called as Manhattan distance, or also called as taxi cab distance. So this yellow sides of the triangle I have summed up in order to produce this new distance metric called as Manhattan distance. So Manhattan distance is also called as taxi cab distance. So whatever grid layout that you are currently observing is of Manhattan cities. Let's imagine that this is of Manhattan cities, proper city layout. So whatever inner squares that you are observing here are nothing but the city blocks. So this is your point A, this is your point B. Now let's imagine that you are traveling from point A to point B by taxi cab. You cannot take this green route, isn't it? You cannot hop on to the city blocks just like that, because these gray areas are nothing but the roads of the city. You only can travel via roads when you are specifically going by a taxi cab. So you can either take this red route, blue route, or yellow route, and cannot go with green route. Okay. So now whatever distance that you are observing for yellow route is going to be same as that of the red route and blue route, right? You can simply count the number of sides of the squares that it's covering, right? This is one side, second side, third side, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, right? Similarly for red route, you can compute or calculate the total sides of the square that you are covering via a taxi cab. So now you observe that the distance that a person can travel from point A to point B via taxi cab, via red route and yellow route, both are going to be one and the same. Same is the case with blue route. Doesn't matter. All these highlighted routes, that is red route, blue route and yellow route, the distance is going to be the same thing, right? And we also have understood how we have come up with this specific formula. And now I am going to generalize this with the help of Minkowski distance. So the formula for Minkowski distance is going to be this. When P is equal to 1, let me substitute P is equal to 1 in this specific distance formula that you are observing. This is going to be mod of x1 minus x2 plus mod of y1 minus y2. And this is nothing but your Manhattan distance. So Manhattan distance is also called as L1 norm. When P is equal to 2, this Minkowski distance that you have represented using this formula now will be same as that of your Euclidean distance, whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square, because I have substituted the value of 2 in place of P here. So that gave me Euclidean distance. The Euclidean distance is also called as L2 norm. So Minkowski distance is a more generic form of a distance metric for both Manhattan and Euclidean. So Manhattan and Euclidean can be considered as special cases for Minkowski distance. So the first order of Minkowski metric is going to be Manhattan distance, second order is going to be Euclidean. There are third order, fourth order, fifth order. It continues to be, right? So however, the first and second orders are equivalent to Manhattan Euclidean distances that we have learnt a while ago. The Minkowski distance is a more generic form of distance metric, whereas Manhattan and Euclidean that we have learnt are special cases of Minkowski metric. Okay? Since we have fairly understood on how we arrive at a Euclidean distance, how we arrive at Manhattan distance, also understood in detail about why the name taxi cab distance for Manhattan distance, and later have understood that these two distance metrics that we have learned are special cases of Minkowski distance. We also have represented a generic formula for Minkowski distance with which we have computed the first and second order, which are equivalent to L1 and L2 norms, which are also called as Manhattan and Euclidean distances, respectively. In the subsequent session, we are going to learn about other distance measures like Hamming distance. Okay, that's all in this particular session. Thanks for watching.